Hey, what's up, YouTube? We are today 20 days, 6 hours, 55 minutes, and 52 seconds away from the Path of Exile Incursion League being released and available for all of us to play every day over the next couple of weeks. As we get more information about the POE Incursion League, we're just making quick videos to give you a quick breakdown on some of the things to get hyped and to get excited about. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of different responses that different Grinding Gear Games employees have responded to questions, whether that's on Reddit or through YouTube or through Twitter. So we're going to dive into some of those questions and just give some quick answers here. So the very first one is what happens if you kill both architects? So inside the Incursion League, there will be these architects that are inside different incursions, and depending on which architect you choose to kill, it's going to shape your Vol Temple in the future. So essentially it's going to determine the layout of your Vol Temple as you encounter it. And the answer is when you kill one, the other flees. It's not possible to kill both. That's from Bex GGG. Bex is the community director there at Grinding Gear Games. The follow-up question is, what about the Golem Spectres, billions of DPS issues? What if I kill one that I shouldn't be killing by accident? Any plans to make us know which one is which before the combat, or do we have to hover over it? And the answer there is you'll be able to see which one is which before you enter the incursion. So there's no chance that so that way there's no chance it's like a Varici mission where you accidentally kill, the target that you're supposed to keep alive. You'll be able to see which is which before you enter the incursion. They're placed in opposite areas of the incursion, so you won't be able to accidentally kill them because they're close together or anything like that. Like, they're going to be essentially in two separate wings and two separate areas of the incursion. Although it won't be two separate instances, all of the incursions will be just one instance and one load time, which is great, and it'll be included in when you load into the zone. But we'll get to that here in just a minute. Okay, so talking about group play, is the temple something you can open and others can come into your temple? Like, if you were in a group of 4 to 6 players, would you get to clear 4 to 6 temples every 11 incursions? This is from Furry Crab. And Bex responded, you can share them with your group, but the temple progression is individual. However, you can totally all progress in one person's temple and reap the rewards at the end of it together at the end. So this is a little bit like mapping. Essentially, when you go into somebody else's map, who gets the map reward for completion? Well, you can get the completion for a map that's uncompleted on your map, but it's not necessarily progressing you in your, let's say, Atlas, your War of the Elder completion. It's not going to change your map. So on your Atlas map, let's say you've got an elder that spawned on the dig map and somebody's just elder farming it. They've created an elder ring and they're elder farming the dig map. If you go to their hideout and you run their dig map, it won't necessarily be elder influenced, right? That's on your Atlas, not on theirs. So if they come to your hideout and you run a dig map, now it will be elder influenced because it's running off of your map. So it sounds like it's a similar concept to where the temple is associated to your account rather than just something generic that everybody can access. Bex also responded, if you're partying in one instance, you'll all go to the same incursion room together, but whoever created the instance will earn the temple progression. If your party is committed to running the full 11 and final temple together, there's really no difference between running someone else's temple and your own. It won't affect your progression ultimately, as the temple is reset every 11 incursions regardless. So every 11 times that you're interacting with Alva Valai and that you go in to reset and remake your temple, it's going to be every 11 incursions that you're going to get to go through and complete a temple run in the present time period. So the incursion is you actually getting sent back in time and shaping your temple of what the temple will look like in the contemporary time when your exile is actually fighting. And so every 11 instances, the temple has a chance to be remade and you have a chance to reshape it, which is really a really fun concept. Okay, so here's the next question. What level will the Vol Temple be? And how does it work with leveling? So this is asked by Raylan. Tried to find an answer for this but couldn't. How's the whole mechanic going to be implemented when it comes to zone level? This is an exceptional question. So you'll get your first time portal on Mudflats or whatever. The zone is level 3. You open a door, so on and so on, for another, 10 times? Then what? What level is the temple going to be? Some kind of average, current character level, or what? So Ziggy D actually explained this in his interview with Chris. So he says, Chris explained to me the way it works. Level is the average of the zones that you run incursions in, plus some levels to make up the gap. So we don't know exactly what those levels are. Maybe that's still yet a number to be determined. Maybe that's something that they're tweaking, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the average of the zones that you run plus some levels. The intent being that it'll be pretty close to your level while you're progressing, unless you skip a bunch of zones or do some low-level incursions way below your level. Then the follow-up question from Raylan, thanks. Any clue on time portal spawn chance and whether or not the temple level is important to hit a certain breakpoint for item X or room Y to spawn? Because I'm already getting talisman flashbacks just thinking about this. In other words, what Raylan's a little bit worried about is there a certain zone level required for certain rooms to be able to be accessible as you are unlocking the temple? In other words, are there gated accesses of treasure? Do you have to be level 35 to access this really cool treasure room that's got extra stuff, or is it available the whole time? Ziggy D responded, you get an incursion in every zone, barring Twilight Strand, and cartography rooms should only spawn in higher level temples. Otherwise, I don't think too much else is level gated, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's certainly nowhere near talisman levels of extraction. So maybe we'll get some more details on that in the coming days, but that's just where we're at so far. Then lastly, our last question today. So there was a lot of motion blur in the trailer video when the character went to interact with Alva Valai and actually enter into an incursion, and somebody was just a little bit worried about motion blur and how much that would affect gameplay. Bex responded, the in-game version is much more toned down than what you see in the trailer. So if you've got any kind of seizure worries or seizure warnings, it's not going to be any worse than Breach. It's probably going to be somewhere in between Breach and Abyss is probably where it's going to be, just in terms of the number of frames and the number of different colors and bright lights that are shining and the blur effect. So hopefully none of you out there are impacted in any way by motion blur in Path of Exile. But if you are, there's an answer that the in-game version is much more toned down than what you see in the trailer. Well, I'm very, very excited for Path of Exile Incursion. I hope you are too. We are 20 days away, and we'll just be coming out with more videos each and every day to get you excited and hyped about the new content that's coming and answering questions, of course, along the way as they come up as well. So if you've got a question or you've got something in particular that you're hyped about, feel free to share it and comment below.